Hi there, I'm James Hodgman, British age group triathlete, and I've been sent this BlueSeventy Swim Bag by Travello to test out and review for you. I've had the bag for a few months now, using it for swim training, travel, commuting, and this is going to be my thoughts and feelings on it and whether it's worth you making an investment in this. Admittedly, a very colourful bag. It was the first thing which really struck me when it came through, is you have these bright palm leaves all over it on a sort of black backing with a big BlueSeventy logo, so obviously everyone is going to know exactly who this is made by. It's an incredibly lightweight but very tough ripstop material. This bag has been in and out of various changing room lockers, flight lockers on planes, trains, you name it, it's been everywhere. And pretty much the only tiny bit of wear and tear has come up on this sort of printed BlueSeventy logo a little bit, but it is incredibly minor. The bag is incredibly sturdy from what I've seen, and this is enhanced by this rubberized sort of base which comes up along the sides, just sort of, if you're putting it down, scuffing it off platforms, that kind of thing. It stays incredibly strong and versatile. To enhance, or what I found has really enhanced its sort of commuting and travel things, are these straps on the back, which are nice and wide. We've got a good amount of padding underneath to keep it comfortable, and on the back of the bag itself, as you can see, we have this cutout shape here which allows for a tiny bit of ventilation and keeps anything in the bag stops it from pressing into your back, especially if I found when I've been riding with the bag on as well. Speaking of riding with the bag on, we do have an adjustable buckled chest strap, which is quite good. So I found that with these straps and there's also an additional one on the strap here as well, which you can adjust the height width up and down just to get it right along the top of your chest. The bag is nice and secure even when it's been fairly well loaded up, and it doesn't sort of swing around or cause any too many imbalances when you are cycling as well, which is really nice. It makes it a nice versatile bag, and it's really handy as well. We have a very large, as you can see here, top loading pocket, which allows you access into the entire capacity of the bag itself, all the way down, which is really handy. So if you put things in, you can very easily see where, say, your kickboard, your fins, snorkel, everything is. They will all fit nicely inside the bag. We also then, on this side, we have a mesh top one, which maybe you can put in your goggles, your swim cap in. Again, it's nice and sizable. The other side, we have a smaller pocket here, and then slightly further around, a bottle holder as well, which I found can get a 750 bottle in, no problems at all, and it holds it nice and snug. I haven't had any issues with jettisoning a bottle during any of my rides. And then lastly, on the pocket front, we do have here, this is touted as the wet kit pouch. Obviously this front is a rubbery material and it's mesh to allow ventilation. And as you see here, this pocket goes into the bag itself, which is nice and sizable, so you can put your wet kit in here as well. You might not fully fit in sort of a kickboard depending on what size you're using, or fins, but any of the bits of swim kit, so a pool buoy and everything along those, and paddles will fit in quite nicely. The one thing I would say on this though, and the same on this side mesh pocket as well, is this internal material isn't actually waterproof. So if you don't put your wet kit inside a bag of some sort as well, it is going to seep into the rest of the things you've got stored inside the bag. So maybe just something to bear in mind if you're commuting to and from the pool with work clothes, laptop, notebook, anything which might be a bit sensitive to be getting wet. I guess that's probably really the main drawback of this, is that there's a wet kit pouch where you might stick that, or a wetsuit or something, and it does sort of not really live up to that, keeping everything else dry from the rest of your bag. Speaking of the versatility, I've said obviously I've been using this for commuting and everything as well. This pocket here is perfect. You can fit a helmet in if you want to. You can also attach it to these carabiners, which are quite handy as well. There are two, one on either side of the bag. And I've also found that my size 10.5 running shoes will fit in this bottom pouch perfectly as well. So if you just want to keep them separate in some way from the rest of your bag contents, ideal as well. We do have an additional top pocket here which goes into the side, again nice and smooth running zips all around the bag, which keeps it really smooth, and they seem to be very durable, no issues at all with any of the zips on the bag at all, which is perfect. And as I say, for commuting purposes, inside the bag itself, it is just one big cavern of space with obviously the wet kit pouch coming in. However, we do have, as we can see here, a laptop sleeve which is padded on this side and the back side as well, just to protect them as well. And I've found that will take a 17.5-inch laptop, no problem at all. So if you have something smaller, you'll be perfectly fine with using this for taking a laptop around as well. As I've said previously, this wet kit bag pocket isn't waterproof, which is probably the main downside. And probably the only other thing which I would mention is there isn't an internal zipped pocket of any sort, or a security pocket, if you will. Which is something which I've maybe thought if you were keeping anything potentially valuable, if you're travelling with, say, a phone, or well, if you didn't actually have it on your person, I might not have kept it in any of these external pockets, because the zips are so smooth and fairly quiet. You might not notice if the bag's on your back if somebody did just flip open it on public transport. So yeah, maybe just something to bear in mind if you want to have sort of internal division of your belongings, or a security pocket. This bag doesn't provide it, but again, that is incredibly minor, and I feel that probably the main drawback is the lack of a fully waterproof pouch here. I think that is probably everything I've really found on this BlueSeventy swim bag. It's incredibly well priced. It comes in at about £65 depending on the exchange rate, from about $80 US. It is incredibly hard wearing. Excuse me. As I say, it's very little damage at all to this logo. That's probably my own fault of not being too careful when I put it into lockers in a hurry. The rest of the bag is in perfect condition. It's shown no signs of wear, and I feel like it's going to be incredibly long lasting. It'll probably be a very good investment for the £65 for the amount of use you would get out of it. Speaking of the amount of use, as I said, ideal for just using your swim training or any of the gym kit as well. You can use it for commuting on and off the bike or travelling. You could get away with this using it as a tri bag as well. It might be lacking some of the waterproof pouches if you'd want that, but you would be able to fit a wetsuit, your bike shoes, your run shoes. You would attach your helmet onto the side here. You'd fit your nutrition in as well, which is perfect as well. So it might slightly undercut equivalent tri bags. You'd sacrifice maybe a feature or two, but other than that, it'll do everything else you would want it to as well. I've also found it's great for travelling as well. You definitely would get noticed in the airport, or if you ended up putting it in the hole as well. I don't think you'd have any worries with it being too damaged, or not being able to spot it on the conveyor belt, as I say. And again, it's incredibly lightweight as a bag, so if for whatever reason your luggage was a weight concern, I don't think that would be a problem at all. So just to wrap up then, the BlueSeventy swim bag does a great job for your swimming, commuting, travel needs. It's got a lot of versatility as a result. It's hard wearing, it's incredibly well priced, and it's barely lacking any features which you might be wanting of it. So from me and the Trivello, we definitely recommend, if you're in the market for a new swim or tri or commuting bag, do check out this new offering from BlueSeventy. Cheers.